Well, thank you so much for joining in. I'm Yashaswini Gupta. I'm the Associate Director at Snehadara Foundation. And thank you for joining this webinar to learn more about the Arts Practices for Inclusion course. We have with us our faculty members, course directors, past students, and a lot of you who are new to this family that we call ourselves. But it's lovely to have you all join in. We will be taking you through what Arts Practices for Inclusion is, how are we going to, what is the course looking like, how does it benefit you, also give you an experience of the art forms a little bit, so that by the time you leave here 1.5 hours from now, you have a thorough understanding of what is this social innovation that Arts Practices for Inclusion stands for. So to begin with, I will just speak a little bit about Snehadara Foundation and the work that we have done briefly. And just for those of you who may not be too familiar with our work, of course, a lot of you have been in touch with us, have been talking about the course with us. But just for the others, I'll take you through what Snehadara Foundation is and what do we do. All right, so Snehadara Foundation, we just turned 10 months back. It was a milestone year for us, 2022. We were founded in 2012 and we're a not-for-profit organization based out of Bangalore. Our primary work, our vision, mission is to promote inclusion. That is what the organization has always stood for. And our USP, so to say, has been to use arts methodologies for learning, and arts methodologies to be able to make learning accessible, make learning fun for everybody whom we work with. There's a lot of community-based work and policy advocacy work that we also do within the organization. Our work is divided into three parts. We have three of our verticals: direct care, the direct care vertical, the impact vertical, and the Pragyadhara vertical. The direct care vertical is where we directly work with beneficiaries. We have a campus in Nelamangala in Bangalore where we work with client populations, where we work with groups, at-risk populations, government schools, and there's a semi-residential program that we run for children with special needs at our campus. And of course, all of this gets done with using arts-based methodologies and multi-art forms. And when I say multi-art forms, I mean music, art, dance, drama, theater, play, visual art, all of that gets encompassed within multi-art forms. Our second vertical is Impart, which works in how to use these art forms and take it to various spaces. How can we scale the work that we do, and how can we take this methodology to other spaces? It starts with learning facilitation, with workshops. We do trainings, conferences with other organizations. We work with government schools, inclusive schools. There is a short-term course that we offered that got birthed during the COVID time called Digi Akshara, which was a 25-hour training program. We do team trainings, we do coachings, leadership trainings, capacity building workshops, team trainings, etc., with other organizations as well. We work with organizations across India and beyond to be able to see how can the arts be used within their existing practices and protocols. And the third vertical is related to why we're all here today, which is Pragyadhara. Pragyadhara was born out of the understanding that we need to take this methodology that we have worked on for so long, that belongs to the Eastern mind traditions, how to take that forward. And that's how the Arts Practices for Inclusion course was birthed. It started as it is a 1-year certificate course that, of course, we'll be talking about further. There's also Arts Practice for Inclusion introductory courses that we offer through with this vertical. Talking very briefly about the API course, and I will invite the other members of the team and our course director as well to be able to speak about the course. But it was inaugurated and launched in Argentina in 2019. It's a 1 year certificate course. We've taken it to across India, various spaces, various cities in India. We have worked in Nepal. We were awarded the Millennium Alliance Global Award to be able to take it to Nepal and to take that social innovation in that socio-political climate as well. We have currently 40 participating students in the course and 10 who have already graduated from the course as well. We're also launching API in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh this year. We started our preliminary work with them last year and are on the way to launch it fully within those geographies as well. And over the years, Snehadara has worked with over 2,000 children through direct interventions, 60,000 children through indirect interventions. We've also trained about 2,500 professionals in over 450 organizations, pan India and beyond India as well. Well, these are all numbers, and a lot. It sounds grand and it sounds big, but the core of the work that we do remains to be how can we use arts for inclusion. And to talk a little more about that and to talk a little more about the course, I would like to invite Dr. Gitanjali Govindarajan, our executive director and our founder of Snehadara Foundation. She's also the course director of API India and overseas and has spent the last 2 decades or more in using arts practices and using these methodologies to create spaces for learning, spaces that uh, talk about compassionate learning, and spaces who talk about how can we make learning accessible for all. So over to you, Gitanjali ma'am, to talk about the course a little more.
Thank you. Thank you, Yashu, for that introduction and welcome everybody. You'll keep hearing this message saying, could you please turn your videos on so that we could get to see you? So if you're in a better network zone, it would be nice to at least see all of you. So we have 51 of us here right now. How lovely. The minute I say turn it on, it turns. All right. Um, so, what I'm going to really tell you is really our story and journey on, or rather, our experiment on what it was for the arts for all of us. So, Sumati and I have our students who are trained with the WCCL Foundation, where we train to become arts practitioners, art-based therapists, art-based therapy practitioners. In fact, Sumati, who was also my mentor and supervisor. And our journey with the arts began with just talking about understanding what role does the arts actually play? What is this arts-based therapy? And we're talking about, I think, easily about 10, 11 years ago when the journey began for her and me much later, where we felt that there has to be a system which a unifying power that brings people together, where differences can be eliminated, where people can coexist, where learning can be happy, where therapy is not just about treatment. Therapy is about creating inclusive spaces. It's about togetherness. So I think that experiment and I think that seeking got us to actually set this up. Until 2017 to 2020, we also offered the arts-based therapy course, and we have 62 practitioners today who are across the country, who are practicing. Some of them are a part of our faculty members. So it's fair to say what Yashu said, family in all her absolute empathetic way. Honestly, it's like I wouldn't say cult, but a herd of people, an army of change makers that we want, who believe in the power of the arts, who believe that you don't have to be born an artist to work with the arts, who believe that there is diverse learning capacity in children. So Snehadhara's genesis also stems from the very fact that all children have the capacity to learn. Learning is a diverse process. What does it mean for us to create learning opportunities? How do we make that journey of being an teacher or an educator to a facilitator? So I think that has been really the core of what we do. A lot of our own innovations have emerged from I think, challenges that we face. So even today, Snehadhara gets its name after the first child, Sneha, whom I worked with, who was denied admissions in regular schools. So, I mean, the reason I share this story is that the birth of ideas and innovations, and that spark is there in each one of us, can come from just something that I feel is a call to act. And I think 10 years ago, we never thought we'd be presenting and we'll be working with so many children. But I think one led to the other, and one innovation led to the other. Through this journey, we faced a lot of challenges from because we worked with children with physical and mental disabilities, children in the autism spectrum. So we faced a lot of, I wouldn't say discrimination, but a lot of, little things which got us to actually say, it's high time we do a halla bowl. So to be honest, I think arts practices for inclusion is just that halla bol and our way out to say, let's change the way society looks at differences. Let's change the way on celebrating differences and diversity. So when we had to take our children out, I mean, children with in the autism spectrum, children with needs, when we had to take them out to public spaces, we were stopped from public spaces. When we had to take them to a theater, we realized, we were offered saying, we'll do a special show for these children, but they can't be with everybody else. And then when we'd walk with the children on the road with absolute gentleness and love, I think people would come and give us biscuit packets and tell us, this is for these children. And what are these children? When we took them to the malls, I think, at every level we felt there was a need for us to polish every mind to say that, how can we make places welcoming? And both of us, I think all of us as a team, very strongly believe that inherently there's compassion in all of us. It's just that we don't know how to access it. And, sometimes it is, unless I'm hit with a need of, an issue with a child with special needs, or if I'm a parent, or if I'm going through any of these things, or my near dear ones, we seem to maintain a distance and saying we don't know what to do. So I think the honest claim here is we all started with we don't know what to do. And I think there is no ego about saying we still don't know what to do, because I fear the day we know it, we'll stop the doing. So we're discovering in this what should really be that language and vocabulary. And we started working with children first. And I think that was our direct care vertical in 2012. I think somewhere in 2015, we felt if children with disabilities can benefit so much, and we work with children who may not necessarily get admissions in any regular schools for just being quite different in their needs. So when we felt that, it cannot, if children are benefiting, so we have large portion of our children have been children with cerebral palsy, children who are non-verbal. And to simplify the whole thing, I think it is this: if a physiotherapist could meet physiotherapy motor domain goals for a child, what would it mean for us to meet it through dance and play and movement? So if an occupational therapist or a speech language therapist has to meet vocalization goals, how about doing it with music and stories? I think that has been the, how about doing with theater and drama? Because one is presuming here that it's all so separate. So sometimes, and I think our own action research projects have shown that vocalization seems to be a lot more when movement and locomotor needs are being met. So I think that was our experiment in the first few years with very structured action learning programs. We got skilled in working with the various art forms. And then it moved on to say, if children are benefiting from this and every child requires a peer learning environment, schools are not welcoming of the children, chalo, we'll go to schools. So that birthed our vertical impact, where we said, let's work with every classroom seems to have a diverse learning curve. 10% of every classroom has children who learn at different paces. So we started working with inclusive schools. We started working with government schools to be able to say, how can arts be taken into learning, arts and education, art for just psychosocial well-being. Today, it is a well-presented, successful model, but trust me, nobody took us seriously. Because when they'd ask us to write a proposal and we'd say, we want to create happy, inclusive spaces, they would say, how do you quantify that? So how do you quantify happy? Matlab, how many smiles per minute? I don't know. So it was also to say, we don't want to lose that core, but we believe we can forge our way. So there is a science to the arts. That is what I think is what both our courses that we offered captured, and that intrigued us at all levels. And I think in the initial stages, when we would go with drums and colors and all of that to classes, they were like band baja nautanki wale aa hi gaye. And it was clearly not an easy journey. But having said that, I think it was fun because I think as a human race, or very culturally, we don't give ourselves the permission to just have fun. Like if you're happy, you can't learn, including funders. I think funders would come and say, sorry, we can't. I think the children look quite happy. We thought it would be a more impoverished organization. And I've actually asked him, what do you want us to look like? Really sad, torn clothes, and say, I mean, why can we not say that there is a possibility for us to create environments of togetherness? So Impact gave rise to, so we were at between 2015 to I think 2018, we were across the country in almost every state. We've had schools in which we have directly worked with. It was also a program with which it subsidized our running cost for the direct care center. Two, three questions kept coming up for us from our own parents saying, what after me? Where do the children go? Society is unwelcoming. What if something happens to us and there is no primary caregiver to take care? I think these questions were what we stayed with for a few years. And we said the what after me question will be answered when all of us are here. What does it mean for us to actually set up a residential space and a community? Because within the community, there is a role for each one of us to play, hold each other together. So we run a community learning setup where children come and live with us on campus as well. And we saw the merit of that. So the format of the course, which Arjun, who will join us in a little while, and when we talk about it, would also emphasize on saying there is merit in groups coming together. There is merit in us working together in that. So when we saw that, we said, let's look at designing a structured course. By that time, I think we had collected enough data, and two things that really stood out for us, maybe for me after about 10 years, to say the normalcy is highly overrated, because in most situations, you don't know whose needs are being met. Is it the therapist who is offering the therapy, or most times we've come out of a session saying, wow, I think now I'm feeling a little better than what I entered in. So there clearly was something. There was a triad between something is happening in common between the practitioner, the beneficiary, and the arts. So when we would do sessions for in old age homes, or when we do sessions with children where we are singing songs, I think, like I remember in an observation home when we were doing a session, and one child started singing, like, no, I thought observation home, so we have to think about how do we teach children songs to calm and teach them, like they had suggested, why don't you do a patriotic theme? But the first child who started the opening song was Goli Maro Bheje Me. And I was like, wow, this is the reality of where the children are. And actually I went out of the session saying ki, when I was thinking, kitne bheje mein aise goli marne ka sometimes we feel. So I think the whole core of working with the arts was to create a non-threatening environment, an environment in which we can come together to learn. So when we saw that goals are being met, there's enough evidence-based literature today on arts can help in meeting goals, and I think it's coming very strongly from the West. And anything from India that goes to the West and comes back to us, we open as a new package. So we're right now, the climate and the landscape is such that all these therapies are making sense because the West has validated it. Actually, gaya to yahan se, because the whole idea of community arts, dandiya, garba, ras leelas, story, kathas have all gone culturally from here. So then we said, what would it mean for us to not look at just therapy, but look at arts practices to create spaces of belonging, togetherness, and freedom of choice? Maybe that space itself is therapeutic, and that itself creates a therapeutic relationship. And that birthed the whole idea of this course on arts practices for inclusion that we have offered. We took a year, a step back, looked at all the work that we have done with other organizations have done. Arjun will join us as well soon, and put together this entire course, which happened to be surprisingly the first course which talks about arts practices to look at inclusion itself. And then and I think now I'll say 3 years into this, the rest is history. But we are in, I don't know what is with these numbers, 3 years, 10 years, 5 years, 18 years, and all we tell ourselves. But we felt that somewhere down the line, over the last 2 years, we have Sindhu, we have Rachna, we have our students who've been doing the course, and just looking at levels with which they took this course and took it into their spaces. I think we will have time to hear them out. We'll have time to listen to Sindhu on how she took this to Rishikesh with groups where we felt that, I wish it reaches out to more spaces. So today we are in this webinar, while it says be a change maker, and we've announced it. The invitation is to say that if you believe that the arts can do something in helping us with psychosocial well-being, if you feel that it would be meritorious for us to learn how to facilitate using the arts, and if we can reach out to making and creating that compassionate society that we want, then clearly those are the change makers that we're looking for. The course has been offered in India, in Nepal. It was interesting to have 12, 13 organizations from Nepal for the last 2 years. So we ran an India and a Nepal batch as well. And what we felt through this whole journey again is that even from, while I say students, because it's just the ones who do the course are students, because I don't like the word participants and clients, but from that perspective, our whole idea is to say, and then we had a lot of people who have come with humanities background, who've come studying psychology. So if you're looking at arts, philosophy, psychology, just understanding human development together, then this is what brings that together for us. Arjun has joined us right now. Hi, Arjun.
Hi, Gitu. Give me 1 second while I come on my headphones.
Right,
1 second.
done. Yeah. So that's the long and short of it. So we are hoping that through this, you will get a chance to understand what is this course offering. I think many of you have got our prospectus. Some of you have already registered to do the course with us this year. And also to see in the larger scheme of what you're set out to do. Where does this fit in? Because I think this is not just a course for us to certify in a course as much as it is a commitment to say we will want to work towards that change together. So Arjun, who has also been the person who has helped me put the course together, written the books for the course, will be taking us through what it is. There are some videos I think that we'll show in between, and then we are going to get you all to dive into actually experiencing what the arts is all about. So I think before I hand it over to Arjun, बच्चों अपना video on करना, whoever can, so we get to see you. Yeah. Over to you, Arjun. Is it a good space to take it from me? Yeah.
It is. It is. Thank you so much. Firstly, all, please pardon me. I am just out of a meeting, taking this call from a public place. Um, uh, Thank you, Gitu, for having me here. I don't know. I'll give you a brief introduction of myself. I don't know. Yashaswini, have you already given that, or should I just
No,
give
no,
a
please go ahead and give.
couple of lines? Okay, all right. So I am a drama and movement therapist and a counseling psychologist. I work out of London and Bangalore. I'm in London at the moment. So I'm just going to actually talk to you about the program, particularly who might this bring some value for, right? And what can you do with the skills that you acquire on this program, right? How might they help you in your profession and what you do? And I will also take you through some videos of participants from previous batches who have participated and who have learned here with us, participants from India and from Nepal. So first, to tell you a little bit about what this program is and isn't, and I hope I can do this succinctly. Um, See, when one looks at applying arts for well-being, typically two or three streams come to mind. This is in terms of your vocation, profession. What can you do with this knowledge professionally? One is art therapy. Um, this is in the psychological field. The second is applied art. So art in education, art for social, emotional health and well-being. These are the two main streams in which one looks at art, and the third is more applied arts happens more in the performative space. So if I were to divide it into three, I'd say these are the three things. There is a lot of churn in India right now as far as the arts therapies are concerned. There are a lot of programs offering this, but the current legal framework in the country as of 2021 is that no course or program in the country can offer you approved art therapy programs. Uh, this ought to be very clear to everyone. This is a new law that has come on in. And so, therefore, if that is the intent with which you're looking to do a program, then no program in India currently works for you. Um, so, this is something I wanted to get out of the way. What people who look to do this profession really typically seek here in India is experience of facilitating art programs, because that's what art therapists do. They are essentially facilitators. So they learn what you learn on this program. How do I facilitate sessions for people using art? Um, what happens typically is for people who are interested in art therapy, study in foreign countries, and they pick up master's programs there. But of the country, even those programs, masters and PhDs abroad, one doesn't know whether one is able to work professionally there or not. So as far as this is concerned, I would say that you consider it that as of now, there's no clarity in India. The next 2 or 3 years, I would say, as per my understanding of the legal landscape, that not much is going to change. So, what do people who desire to work in these fields pick up on? They pick up on facilitation skills. How do I facilitate sessions? That is something you learn on this program. That is something you learn on this program as effectively as you would learn, and I would say perhaps more so than any other program that looks at art therapy for the moment, because hey, we don't know what you might do with those learnings. Therapy spaces often work with 5 or 6 people. You wouldn't work more than that in a group setting typically. Here you learn to work with very large groups. Um, so I think this is what sets API apart. The fact that you get to work with big groups, you get the experience of handling big groups using art practices, you get a hands-on experience of working with people who are different from you, right? And who are not in neurotypical spaces. You learn the value of empathy, connection, and human connection and shared emotional connections with who you work with. And what you get on this program, I think, which is different from all others, is actually work in multiple art forms. Typically, our therapy programs, for example, you'll be working with visual art, or you'll be working with drama, like I do. I, for example, work with drama. But here you actually get to work with five. You get to work with very different art forms, and you get a solid grounding and learning in that field. Can I just ask Yashaswini that we play for them some videos about what actually happens and how you learn during
Absolutely.
sessions? Yeah?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think what a
So,
couple of videos that I'll show would
hmm.
be about how a few different art forms are taught during the course. And these are from the contact sessions themselves. So that will also give the webinar participants an idea of how that is. Yes. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
So this was a short glimpse of how dance and movement has been taught during the course. This is with the India batches, the Nepal batches who were there for the contact sessions. Another short video I'll show Arjun of maybe how voice and rhythm has been taught, just so that the group gets that.
Yes, please. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Yashaswini. Okay. So now I've told you a lot about what this is not, right? Let me tell you a lot about now what it is. And so you've gone through these some of these videos and you've seen what participants have learned. Now I'll tell you where all you can apply this, right? Uh, you can apply this if you work, for example, as a lot of art practitioners do in schools. You can work to facilitate social emotional well-being in schools, in inclusive classrooms. You can work in care centers or care homes, which ask people to come and facilitate sessions with arts for people who stay there. So, educational institutes, schools, both neurotypical as well as neurodiverse, that is inclusive schools. You can work at centers which is set up for people, who may be at risk of exclusion, who may be experiencing various different challenges at various different stages of life. You could be working there. You could be hired as somebody who comes and does occupational therapy, for example, in India. You could be hired as somebody who comes and does recreational therapy, which is coming and doing arts activities, for example, at any of these places. You could work. Some of our graduates have even worked with corporates. A lot of people do these dual jobs. You come and work in the social sector, but you also learn how to facilitate big groups. So you do things like employee welfare programs. You do group building, team building programs. Group building and team building, in fact, is something that you get very good skills on doing when you learn this program, because a lot of the focus on API is how do you bring groups and communities together. So any area that you might be working in, if your goals are bringing a group together, bringing people together, bringing communities together, then the skills that you acquire on this program are unparalleled, and you do not acquire them on other programs right now. Our main focus is looking at how groups, people, and communities come together. And this, like I said, is work that you can do in education settings, you can do in social care settings, you can do in occupational, recreational therapy settings, you can do in corporates, you can do this kind of work there. And of course, it's Snehadhara. So many of our graduates who've come in and are now involved in the program, either as supervisors or, as coming in on the teaching team on the program. So this is something which will help you in all of this. And maybe if 5 years down, 3 years down the line, let's say India's legal landscape changes a little bit, you want to go abroad, do another program, you want to learn, do your masters in art therapy, etc. This will always help you because you will go in with a solid understanding of how to facilitate sessions. A facilitator here on this program, we spend a lot of our time training our students to be facilitators. How do you become that person who makes it easy for a group, a community of people to come together, to enjoy themselves, and to meet some of the aims and goals of your sessions? So we are training people. We are training you to be able to hold that space. And this is not a space where things like gravitas or charisma work. This is a space where we connect with people emotionally. So, your whole journey on the program is supported by the second leg. How are we developing as people? For this, there is a parallel stream, which is on self-care, which we also teach as a part of this program. So one is your skills, your transferable skills of how to be a facilitator. Then, of course, your skills on self-care. So I'm going to stop there for a bit, right? And we have some of our ex-students with us. We have Sindhu and we have Vinita. So I'm just going to now hand it over to Shastani to call either of them in, and they can tell you a little bit about their experience on the course. And I'm sure you all have many questions. Uh, uh, how are we handling questions here, Shastani? Are people dropping it in the chat box, which we can answer at the end?
Yes, yes.
Or
Yes, thank you, Arjun. So I
okay.
would request any questions that come up, to keep, doing that, to keep dropping them in the chat box, and we will address them at the end. We'll have some time. And at that point of time, if there are new questions that also come up, we'll take them up. So there will be ample time given for that as well. So thank you so much, Arjun, for that very insightful understanding as well. And now what happens is I would like to call upon two of our old participants, Sindhu and Benita. So Sindhu is somebody who's completed the course with us. She was a part of the first Arts Practice for Inclusion India batch with us, and Benita is on her way to complete the course. I would like to invite them both for a couple of minutes to just speak about what was their experience of the course. How did they think it benefited them, or just talk about that a little. So I think I know Benita is on the field today, so she's graciously joined us. Benita, if you can go first.
Thank you, Ashwini. Uh, Good evening to everybody. Uh, well, I sometimes wonder how do I put so much of learning into a short 2 minute experience. But what I can talk about API is, as Arjun was talking currently about those two major parts of it. I've grown as a facilitator, definitely in the skills aspect of it, but the self-care piece is a complementary aspect of the program. I think any of us working in the field in the social or development sector, I'm a therapist. So for me, that has been something that has added so much more to my self care and so much more to the awareness I bring to the population I work with, whether it is the children I'm currently working with or my individual clients. Uh, I think the API course, while it teaches group facilitation and how to use the arts with different populations to facilitate inclusion, I think what it really does, it shifts your worldview and how we see communities and how we see ourselves as parts of these communities and the change we can bring through making arts as like a tool or as a common denominator to uh, to bring people together. And I think if I have to really speak to why and where this course can be really useful, I think it works across the board. If I have to speak about my experience using the arts, I've used it with individual clients. I've used it with clients that I'm working with in groups. I've used it with children. I've used it with other therapists and psychologists that I train on field for self-care. And it's really helped me come back to this idea that we don't always need language to bring about well-being. We don't always need to have words to put to experience. You can feel better by just expressing in different ways. And also that different people have different ways of expression. So that's really my experience in a nutshell. If I have to put that together for the API program. And I think if I had to do the program once again while I was watching the videos, if I had to do it all over again, I was like, oh, I want to do this all over again because there's so much to learn every time you're in a circle. Yeah. Yeah, Shasini, you want me to add something more? Any other question you have?
No, that was some very kind words. And I think it does paint a picture about how the course is and how you also used it with the children that you have worked with. Thank you so much, Punita, and thank you for joining in the middle of your field work as well. I'll hand that over to Sindhu to talk a little more about how her experience was of the course and the work that she did as well. Sindhu, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I think Vinita has put it very well, so I don't know what else to say. But overall, I think the course is something like I'd like to talk about that how for me it gave me a space to. So I worked with children from marginalized backgrounds, a particular group in Rishikesh that lived in the main center but was hidden away because of the construction in front of their slum. So literally they were excluded in a way. I mean, they were excluded physically and of course socially and poverty. But I think what I want to say is this course gave me tools and ways to create a space where these children could express themselves, be heard, be witnessed, and really claim their space. So at the end of the course, I wasn't doing much because the children really ran the show for me. You know, they decided. It became so that they would want me to come every other day, and it was like, where are we going now? This is the space. This is our space. So I think as facilitators, like Geetu and Arjun say, that it really allows you as a facilitator to hone your skills, be present. At the same time, you really learn to let go and just see what is happening in that space and how beneficial that is for your audience, for your client group or for the group that you work with. And I think I learned, I'm still learning, but I learned so much in that 1 year. For me, it was freeing. I don't know how else to put it. The course itself is so wonderfully designed, and it gives you so much freedom to take it anywhere. I mean, there's no way that you can't work with any group. It's like Benita also said, it works everywhere. At the same time, it's very freeing. Like there's no rule. I mean, there are rules, but it's like you can do a lot with this skill, with the skills that you take away from here. I think that anything else, Yashu, I think I'm good.
People will start to feel we've asked you to come.
Ma'am, can I share something?
Yeah, we are going to be opening it up, ma'am, to the group sharing just in a little bit. Would you be able to hold it on till then? Is that okay, Ms. Datta?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you for that patience. Yeah, like Yashu saying, it looks like we've engineered this and given them. Chalo, sab log yahi bolna. All right. We're going to really quickly deep dive now into, I think, the most awaited part of the webinar, which is to say कि ये arts जो बोलते रहते हैं, ये है क्या? So let's try in whatever format or whatever is available for us and see what does the experience of this of the arts actually look like, and what is it for? So over to Sumati, and again, it would be really nice if we have the cameras on, because then we're also going to draw energy from watching all of you do this with us. Yeah. Sumati, Rutika, over to you.
Thank you, Gitu. Thank you, all of you, for joining. Are we ready for an experience now? Okay, so if you have space, then you can all stand up. Yeah, so move your chairs away. Can you all hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so get ready now. Yes, some more videos, please. Would love to see all of you. Yeah, that's nice. Yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, so now let us all move to another land, a land of dolls, where all these dolls have absolutely no movement at all. So we are still dolls. And there comes a magician into this land and decides, okay, let me make these dolls move. And he starts playing some music. And he says, okay, now move your neck slowly. Up and down movement of the neck. Left to right. Shoulders. Reverse shoulder. Arms. Wrists. Reverse the wrist movement. Fingers. Upper body twist. Waist hip rotations. Reverse the hip rotations. Bounce. And move your arms. And now the magician takes you to a village. And in that village, we need to draw water out of the well. So we're all drawing water out of the well. Yes. It's a deep well. And there, pick the bucket and throw the water to wash the porch. Throw the water. And you have this large broom with which you're going to clean the place. This way. The other way. Okay, now you have to mop the place. Luckily, you have a stick mop there. This village is a modern village. You've got a stick mop. Yeah, use the mop and clean the place. And now it's time to make breakfast. And breakfast, there's no mixie there. You have to grind the chutney for the dosa. Yes? No, we're using silbatta. Rutika, we're using the silbatta for the chutney. We'll come to grinding for the dosa. Okay, so now it's a silbata. Nice movement, front and back. It's a large one. Okay, and now the chutney is ready. Yeah, take it into this container. Okay, yummy. Smells good. Okay, and now we have to grind for the dosa. Use both your hands. There's a stone grinder there. And yeah, nicely. Yeah. Push the rice in. Push the rice in as you're grinding. A little faster. This hand's hurting, the other hand. Okay, dosa batter ready? Okay, ready to make the dosa now? Okay, turn it over. A little bit of ghee or oil. Yeah. Can you smell it? Oh wow. Yeah, take that off now on the plate. And there you have this crispy dosa. And eat it with the chutney. Okay, and the magician says, now let me give them some voice. Now they've got bellies are full. Now they have voices. I have to give them voices. And then starts working on their voice skills. And says, let me start the vowel sounds. He tells everybody, first sit down. Now they've learned how to sit down. So he tells all the dolls, yeah, be seated. And he says, let's start working on the voice. We'll start with the vowel sounds. So before we go to voice, we do the breath. So we learn to take deep breaths. A deep breath in. And in the next breath, when we exhale, we make the ah sound. Take a deep breath in. Ah. Then the e sound. Breath in. E. And then the oo sound. Take a deep breath in. Ooh. Then the A sound, a deep breath in. A. And then the O sound, take a deep breath in. Oh. Okay, that's not enough. I have to bring in consonants, he says. And then he picks up, he looks at everybody's names and says, let me pick up looking at these names over here. We string 3 consonant sounds, the starting sounds of your names here. So I see over here, Yasugi, and says, everyone together, Yasugi. He brings in rhythm and says, Yasugi, 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 Yasugi. Yasugi, 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 Yasugi. He adds 2 more. He says T from Tinny and Fo from Fauzia and says T4, T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4. Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4, Yasugi T4. Okay, so he says, oh my, the voices are coming out now. And now since voices are there and there's movement also, he says, why not give them a chance to experience this together by bringing in free movement? And he says, he tells his dolls, okay, stand up again. And then they stand up. And he says, let the music play. And now they're ready to do free movements. Yeah, What are the movements you remember from all that we did now? Yeah. Yes. Yes, we can start on the movements. Yes, somebody's swaying already. Yeah. Yes, okay. Yeah, any more movements? Yes. Okay, the drawing of the water in the well. Yeah. Okay, the grinding. Okay. The washing of the porch. The mopping. You can add washing of clothes. Okay, with both hands. Yeah, what are the other movements coming up now? Okay, walking up and down. Okay, a punch down.
Follow my lead.
Okay, this is great. Wow, wow, what a show. Okay. Okay, he lets all his dolls catch their breath, makes them settle down, and then says, okay, let's do some slow movements, some calming movements. Very slowly, he makes them watch their fingers as they move their fingers, to study their palms. To feel their palms. To massage their hands for all the movement that's been done. A rub on the face. A few presses here and there. And the magician tells them to bring their palms together. Look at their palms. Rub their palms. And blow out gratitude to the world. Then he says, okay, let my dolls show gratitude with visual art. Let them show them. So then he says, here I am putting up a big screen for you. And he shares this. And then asks them, you can share what your thoughts are. He says, put it with color, use color, pick up certain colors from there and start, pick up shapes and start drawing. Ones who find it difficult, go to the top right corner. You might get an option there to annotate and you can start annotating. So fill up what you want to fill, the colors that you want to add to this. Your show of gratitude. Experiment with it. So he lets his dolls experiment. And once the screen is full, he says, yes, thank you so much for all the love that's been shown. And he says, you can stop annotating now. And just look at all the love, the thank you, the care, the trust that's come up on the screen. He says, thank you for all the annotations. And now I'm sending you empowered into the world to spread a lot of joy in all the spaces that you go to. And he leaves the place and sends us all back to our own spaces and says, go back to your spaces. So we all come back to our rooms after having experienced. Thank you. So we're all back in the space now. Thank you. And yes, any one word that you would like to give as feedback for the experience that you went through now. A little bit.
Healing, ma'am. Healing experience.
Healing experience. Thank you, Tini. Okay, amazing. Thank you. What did
Feeling
it do
calm
to you? Experience of joy, feeling calm,
and joy. Feeling
and
calm
joy.
and joyful.
Feeling calm and joyful. Okay. Yes, fun. Right? Feeling as free as a child. Okay, feeling free. Yes, connected.
Feeling remember.
Nostalgic, Rachna. Oh, you went back to the space. Okay. Yeah. Magic. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Peace. Thank you. And this is what the art forms can do. And this is what API is out there for. It is for bringing in well-being. Yeah, primarily well-being in all the spaces that you go and work in. And this is how the art forms can bring in that well-being. Yes. So thank you so much, all of you, for participating, letting go of our inhibitions. Yeah, just going to the core of who you are. Yes. And once you've reached that core of who you are, then there's nothing that's going to stop you from being joyous. Yeah, joy and energetic. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And with that, I hand it over to Geetu now.
Thank you, Sumati, and thank you to each one of you for giving yourselves the permission to just let go. I think this worked, and it feels all these words is like these words for all of us, because we allowed ourselves this experience together. After this, talking about the course and talking about just the structure of it, I thought would be important before we throw it open to questions and if you have anything to ask. So the batch of 23-24 admissions are open. We already have students who are enrolled to do the course. We've had admissions that are going on. Some of you have already met us and said we had invited you to say experience the webinar as well once. The structure of the course is such that it requires you, it's a course that's divided into 3 terms. The first term is from February until May. The second term is from June to December, and the last term is from actually December until March. So the course, that's the range of the timeline for the course. It requires you to be present in Bangalore for 2 contact sessions that will happen for 7 days, where you will come, you will live with us on campus. It's a residential contact session where you need to be coming in and being with us. The dates for this year are from March 3rd to March 9th, where one batch would be there, and the other batch is from June 17th to June 23rd, is where you're required to be here. Besides this, the large portion of your work will happen wherever you are in the city that you are and with the client group that you're going to be working with. What also happens is after the first contact session that you come, you will come here, you will be here with us, you go back and you start your practice from the time that you go back. Then you come back to us again in June. So it's also divided into some amount of sessions that need to be done. In term 1, you do 15 sessions with your client group. In term 2, you do 30. And then you have the term 3 inclusion project that happens. Along with the faculty, the material and other things that are given to you, you're well equipped with an API kit with the djembes and the drums that you saw, theater material, play material, to be able to go and directly work with your client group. You're also assigned a supervisor who basically will be with you through this journey of the entire year, up to 8 supervision visits, either directly in person. In some cases, it's been more than that, where sessions are being watched online, who would also help you and be there with you through the course. There is a research component where tools are you're introduced to some evaluation tools for your client group. You will be collecting the data. We will work with you through that. And then the research project is put together by our research team, which is led by Yashaswini. So this is like the long and short of what the course is. Fair to say the structure of the course is such that you have a self-experience of the arts. What does the arts do for self-care? Facilitation through the arts, and building inclusion through the arts. I mean, that would be the large structure of where you would be at the end of the course. And like most of them said, I think the whole thing on wanting to come back and nostalgia is that 1 week that we're together is an experience that all of us really cherish, because it is living together, working together, learning together. And I think to be able to invest in that for yourself is something that we have seen very valuable. More than people from outside of Bangalore who have thanked us for the residential format, Bangaloreans have thanked us to say, thank God you helped us beat the traffic. What also happens for us in this whole process, we will be sending you all the details of the course, the prospectus to those who haven't got it. In Bangalore, we have our campus, which is in Nelamangala, and you will be living with us. The faculty will also be living with you there on campus. So that's the large structure of where it is. A very frequently asked question is, along with what I'm doing right now, is it something that I can pursue as well? What is the kind of time I have to invest? We've had a range of people with our students being as young as 18 and 19 years to somebody who is a 62-year-old who runs an organization. So it's a range of each year the cohort looks different. We are already looking forward to this year's cohort, where there are some very interesting beneficiary groups. Prerequisites for you would be maybe about, fair to say, 4 to 5 hours in a week. That includes your facilitation session with whatever your client group is. So if you're working in an organization, you already have a client group there. Is fair to say, and your assignments, because there are some assignments and submissions that we give, and which you will be doing. And assignments are something that is also divided into self-care, ensuring that this practice and this momentum continues even when you are doing your work with your client group. Another very important prerequisite is there should be an organization with which either you're working or volunteering. So if you're working in some other space, we have somebody who's doing the course this year, who's actually a corporate trying to make a transition, but is associated with an old age home, and is trying to see, is there something that I can do with the old age home, not from Bangalore, but to be able to say then Saturday, Sundays, I can facilitate sessions. So you should have a client group to do this. The non-negotiables with this will be the contact session. You will need to come, and I think it's like I keep saying, we hold you all captive and in hostage, because our network is also little. So it's like a forced time to say, give this to yourself. And that's the large structure of the course. And so all these details, the prospectus, and I think all of that will come to those of you who have already signed up for the course. If you get it once again, you please forward it to somebody else. It's just that as a part of this database group, right after the webinar, those details will come to you. For those of you who've already gone through the Google one-on-one meet. So what typically happens is, once you decide to do the course, a meeting is fixed between you and the faculty, or one of us, whoever can attend the meeting, to specifically talk about where would this help, what should be the group, how is it for you, to just handhold you, because each one's case may be different or may have different questions to ask. Then there is a very structured application form that comes to you. And then after that, whatever that interview we do one-on-one is when we give you about a week to fill in the application forms. I'm told by Yashu that we're looking at least by the 10th of February to close this cohort, so that we also know, because once we know the group that's coming together is when the faculty starts working together to try and work with keeping the group pathology in mind. So that's just the overall of the course. Now we can leave it open to questions. I think those of you who have questions, those of you who want to ask anything to any one of us, or you have something to share, please, the house is open till another 20, maybe 10, 12 minutes. We started 4 minutes late, so I thought we'll get 4 minutes concession. So we would like to go up to 6:34, if it's okay with everybody else. Yes, sure. Yes,
Can I share?
Yes, please. Thank you for waiting.
Yeah. I am Dr. Tinni Datta. I am associated as an assistant professor in Muralidhar Girls College, Kolkata. I like to involve with you, and I have done work on color therapy, which is a part of facilitation through art. Can I meet with you once? Because I will not get leave much more. So 3 days I can manage. And can I take a session on color therapy?
I'm going to have somebody from the team. We have your email ID, ma'am. We will have, yes, we have their email IDs, right? We will have somebody from the team meet you offline and then talk to you and fix up a meeting with us. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
welcome. Thank you.
There were a couple of questions in the chat. I'll just read them out. Marika
please.
has asked, is there any opportunity for doing this online?
The contact sessions, I mean, the only time I think we still had a flexibility of doing some sessions online was during the, I think 21, when we were after the first wave in COVID, where I think part of our contact session was offered online, but then we got the students to come here. There is right now this offering is going to require you to come to Bangalore for those 2 weeks. But you can, like in certain cases, client groups, they have been able to meet the client offline 2 times the group and meet them online once. That possibility is there based on the organization with which your beneficiary group is.
Hi, my name is Sunandini. You said one of the important criteria is that you should already be working with some organization or at least volunteering. So is there any option that if you're considering doing this at a later point, that if you can probably just get trained, into this kind of facilitation and then look at opportunities wherever you're based? How does it work then? Is that possible or?
Yeah. So for the purpose of the course itself, the merit and meaning in this is only when you're able to practice this with the client group. So what we say is, for the purpose of the course, it is be good for you to get a community or a group of people, or associate yourself with a vulnerable group, which could be as little as 4 or 5. It could be women, it could be women in the basti, it could be in orphanages, it could be. If you're saying, I don't want to sign up with a school or an institution, so sign up with an NGO that's already doing work and go and do sessions. After the course, you could look at then changing the population. So the course will empower you to work with all vulnerable groups: children, adults, mental health, de-addiction, children with disabilities. But for the purpose of the course, it would be nice for you to use one particular group and then segue into what you think it would be. So while Snehadhara primarily works with children with disabilities, all our projects range from community, working in orphanages, we are working with senior citizens. So that it will empower you to do that. But for the purpose of the course, to answer your question, ma'am, you will have to have at least a group of 4 to 5. There are some people who say, I don't have an organization, but this is an NGO of a friend for whom I'm going and volunteering. Even that would be fine. But for you to see how you're using the skills,
Sure.
you know, how it is, that would be something that is requested. Could we also request you to share your email ID, because then we can.
I think they have it, because I did receive the Zoom link, whatever.
Okay.
So my name is
Then they have
Nandini.
it. All
Yeah.
right, ma'am. All right.
And also, is there a minimum size of the group that you would require, or would even 2 children or 2 people be sufficient? How does it work?
So 5 would be ideal, because if there are 2-3 children who drop out, or if there's a child that drops out, then just to keep like a contingency, we would say. But I think the minimum would be at least 3 participants is what you should have. And I think it's easy to say keep it at 5, especially in schools, and you know, especially if you're with floating populations, like if you're working in a basti or you're working in a de-addiction center. You know, we've had students who are working in a de-addiction center. They actually benefited, and the student, the client has got discharged. But we had students coming back and saying, "Ma'am, our client got discharged. We lost." You know, it's good that they're out of a de-addiction center, but it shrinks your group size. So it's advisable to say 5. Suppose the other reverse, like you're working in a school and you don't have a chance to pick 5. And you're given a class of, say, 12 children or 15 children. You could say, I will work with them, but for the purpose of the study, I will use these 4 or 5 children. That has also happened in 1 or 2, I think in 1 or 2 schools, we had to do that, because you can't go and say, I will volunteer, mere ko 5 bacche do na. So I think that is also there. That's also
all right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, hi.
Hi, ma'am. I wanted to ask one thing, like you mentioned that we need to work like 5 hours for week. As I am working with the school, I don't have any problem. But once that contact session is over, then April month, April and up to mid-May, there will be summer vacation.
Right.
So that time.
Yeah, so Pyali, in the up to 5 hours is what I'm saying, you have to allocate time. So you are already doing the thing, and you already have a client group, Pyali, here. So the sessions you're working with the children would be 1-1-hour sessions, and in term 1, you have to finish 15 sessions. So we have planned it also in a way that there could be holidays, there could be, but to do 15 sessions over a period of, say, from March onwards till June, till you come end of June, is possible for you all. So I think it's about, it averages to about 2 to 3 sessions, and that is workable.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
2 sessions a week, Gitu.
I mean, to be able to 2 sessions a week. Huh?
Yeah, at least, I mean, that works out to 16 in 2 months, no?
Right. 2 sessions a week minimum. Right.
Okay, then vacation time, after vacation, I can do 3-4 sessions.
Yes. You can, of course you can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And just to say, this is also adjustable, you know. So there's no, if your 16 sessions get extended into 2.5 months or 3 months, that's fine. Actually, this year we have reduced the session requirement. It is now 15 sessions in term 1. Earlier it used to be 18. It is now 30 sessions in term 2. Earlier it used to be 45. So there's more flexibility. There's some room for you to finish your sessions. So even if you're working full time, it is easy for you, you know, to put in this much commitment.
Ignore the expression of our past students who had to endure 45 sessions. Guys, your videos are also on. Look at that. No, but just to tell you, while we say this is the minimum prerequisite to do sessions, when you're actually with the group, you would want to do a little more to test your skills, to see where and what it is. But this is a very, you know, you can meet those requirements. Yeah. Any other questions?
Ma'am, am I audible? Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello.
3 people, Sheetal and you, and please, go for it. Yeah. Sheetal, right after him, please. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is me, Shoaib Mahmood from Bangladesh. So I'm working with the Rohingya refugee community in Cox's Bazar. You may heard about this. And basically, I'm a counseling psychologist, and I have a team with whom I am working and supervising them. So I am pretty much interested about this course, and as I joined this type of session before with you guys, and yeah, it is very amazing, I think. And I'm thinking about my team, if they can join this course. So I would like to advocate with my organization for this course, pursue them to join this course. So would you please give us a course outline with a budget plan or course fee and the detail? Yeah, I'm interested to know detail. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks. We will take note of this separately, yes, and we will write to you. We are in Nepal. We have been supported by the Millennium Alliance, so we've been able to subsidize that a little bit for people who came in from Nepal. We will send you the actuals of what it is and the course proposal, and we would like to see. I mean, if it works well, we could have you all in this batch with the India team itself.
Sure.
So we'll
Thank
send
you.
that. Yes, let's send
Thank you
that.
so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah. Yes, Sheetal, would you like to go with your question?
Yeah, just wanted to check with you. Sorry, the net is not that great here. Just wanted to check what would the fee structure be like, because I've attended something on the similar lines before. So I really don't know, like, how much would the budget be? Currently, I'm a research scholar from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. So, like, not working, and like I do have a few groups that I can think of. Like you have mentioned 5 of this thing. Would these groups, like my question one is on the same, like by the person who just asked you the question, what is the kind of budgeting that we need to have? Like, what kind of course fees that we have? And second is, can the groups that we are working with be online?
See, I think we did this with a few organizations in Nepal where the beneficiary group was online. We have a project with the Indian Army where for 2 years we worked with them online. We will have to take it, Sheetal, as a case-on-case basis here to say that if you're able to be here for the contact sessions and the only way to work with your group is online, I think we'll have to set up a separate meeting to discuss that. With regards to your other question in terms of organizations and budgets, if it is an organization that's approaching us, then we meet the team to understand the need, actually see if that mapping is happening as well. And right now for us, the actual course is priced at about 1,20,000 rupees, but we've subsidized that to 85,000 rupees for all students. We're hoping to further subsidize that if we have we are in conversation with a funder who might support the cost of taking off some of the costs from us. And this course fee includes your contact session of 2 weeks that you stay with us, the kit with the drums and the material that comes to you, all your supervision costs and travel of the supervisor who comes in. There is an installment scheme. In certain cases, we have looked at very deserving students asking for scholarships. So we have gone back to our funders and people to try and ask if there is a possibility of a scholarship. If there is a possibility, and we have, in fact, that has not stopped students from applying for the course. We worked it out separately to be able to see where and what it is. But this is already subsidized thing that we have done because there is some support and investment that's already made into this year by our board. So that's the reason why we could contain the cost at what it was. So, but again, in your case, we'll have to take it separately to see, is it possible for us to do this, have your group online. So I would request you to write in to us if you're keen and you want to consider it. And then I think between Arjun and I or Sumati, one of us will meet you separately to see, what are the options available for us. Yeah.
And just to add on to that, I know there are more people waiting in the queue to ask you questions. Just wanted to check with you, the timeline that you have shared is it starts from Feb.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm still in the middle of submitting my thesis, like my pre-thesis days are somewhere in the month of Feb. So right now I'm completely drowned in work, like my research work. So coming out any step of it would be like quite a chaos.
March. The contact session begins on 3rd of March.
So that's when the course starts?
Yes. No, there will be an orientation that will happen. The cohort will be coming together online in Feb, maybe the last week of Feb. We're still finalizing those dates. But your requirement to be in Bangalore will be from 3rd of March to the 9th.
3rd
The
of
first
March.
contact session is March 3rd to March 9th.
And the entire course we are looking at a year's time, or is it like something like 9 months?
So you come March 3rd to March 9th, and then you go back and you continue to work with your client group. You come back to us in June for 1 week, which is 17th to the 23rd or 24th, whichever is the Friday. And it's 1 year. By the time your submissions and results come, it's a year. So the batch which starts in Feb for us certifies in March. So the ongoing batch is certifying on March 25th, if they all pass.
Okay.
So there's marks also.
Yes. And we are looking at something like the certifications, meaning I still have to go through the PDF and the website and stuff. So if you're looking at it, then which are the certifying bodies that are going to be certifying? Because I did pursue some.
Yes, the course is not associated with any other organization doing this work, because there isn't another organization which is offering arts practices for inclusion. So it is certified by Sneha Dhara, and we've had the last, I think, 3 batches of students who've done the ABT course as well as the API course. I think that has not been an issue. But if your question is that are we accredited to any of the government related bodies? No, right now it is the USAID and the Millennium Alliance, which has, whatever, certified this to go out as a global innovation. So we don't have a certification or an accreditation with either Rehab Council of India or none of that, of choice.
Okay, and if I may just ask a very quick question, there's something like, this is ABT, that's arts-based therapy. I've also come across something which is like expressive arts therapy, like EAT. How do these two differ?
So this is arts practices for inclusion. This is neither of the both. But to answer your question, I think arts-based therapy, from what we have learned, was offered to us by WCCLF Foundation Pune. Expressive art therapy is, I think, offered by an organization here right now in Bangalore. But I mean, while Arjun has come online, so I think he'll be the best person to answer that question. But both of it, I think, talks about art forms only. But Arjun, you can add on if there's something.
And how much of the portion can also connect to visual arts? Because my PhD is in visual arts.
So it's equally divided between all these art forms. So visual art, play and drama, music and rhythm. Did I miss anything? Music, voice, play, drama,
dance and movement.
Dance and movement. So it's equally divided to all of that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, so expressive arts therapy, it's an umbrella term. It covers all the arts therapies. But like I said before to you in the beginning, there is no such course on arts therapy in India at present that, I would advise you, you should be considering, because the laws of the country have changed. So expressive arts therapies, if you're asking me what, as a concept, what it is therapies that allow one to be expressive. Yeah. And these use various art forms. So you have specializations in music therapy, drama therapy, art therapy, movement therapy, dance therapy. But right now there's no such thing here in India, unless the government of India prescribes what programs you can take at university level. So that process is going to take some 2-3 years. So far as this offering is concerned, as I said, it's training you to be facilitators. It is a skill that is essential for anyone who wants to be an art therapist in future. Your ability to be able to facilitate art sessions, right? Wherever you go, whatever you do, you will need the skill. And this is a skill that this program trains you in. So I hope that's clear.
And just to answer Sakshi's question there, to say that I'm from UK, would you be offering it next year? Yes, we will. But I would request you, Sakshi, stay connected with us, because there are some of these short-term programs which we do offer online. So it would be nice to stay connected. And we've also had participants coming from outside the country who come with the idea of interning with us for a few months and then pursue the course. So do stay connected with us, Sakshi. Maybe we can take one question if there is, and you will anyways be connected with us on an email, and we'd like to then keep up with time. It's already a Saturday evening.
Can I just request for more details on the internship part you just spoke about?
Yes, yes. We will take a note of this, Sheetal. When you get a mail from us, just write back to us saying, could you provide internship details as well? Because Vidya, who's also here on our call, is the vertical lead who handles our outreach, inclusion, and all the internships projects are led by her. She will definitely fix up a call with you and share more information.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Yes, I'm assuming there are no questions. Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, all of you. Nimisha, is there something you want to ask? Or you just appeared? Hey, such a cutie with you. Oh.
You wanted to say hi to all of you. So
hello. Hi. Yeah, so
no questions. I've gone through the prospectus and I want to say thank you so much because this is so beautifully designed that whatever you learn and experience, you're able to like try it out with other groups. So this is very exciting. Thank you.
thank you. We will be in touch with you. So thank you so much, all of you, and thank you for taking this time out. I'm hoping to see many of you as a part of the shared learning journey, as a part of being a part of this cohort. Stay connected with us, and if you're in Bangalore, do take time out to come and be there at our campus. If you're not in Bangalore and you are coming here, or you wish to come and spend some time with us in the community, you're more than welcome. And I'm hoping that for those of you who are still kind of yet to go through the prospectus and meet us, you would get a little bit of an idea on what this is. And thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Sumati, Rutika, Arjun, Yashashwini, thank you so much. And also to Sindhu, Rachna, and Binita for joining us, Vidya. So yeah, looking forward to seeing all of you soon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a
One
nice
small
weekend.
request before we all leave. I'm so sorry. One small request. I am putting down our contact information on the screen. In case, while we may have a lot of your email IDs and numbers if you've gotten an email from us, but in case you haven't, and if you haven't registered for the webinar, I would just request you to put your email ID and your name and number in the chat box. That will be very helpful for us to be able to reach out to you guys as well, if you haven't registered for the webinar. So please do that we'll just take a minute to do that, and then good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining in.